Stir that pot. Stir the pot. Throughout these playoffs, we've made daily videos on this channel going over the stuff that happened the night before in the postseason, right? But I don't really feel like doing that today because the games last night were, they were all right. They were pretty fun. Both series 3-1. The team that was down 3-1 won both games. I honestly thought the Heat were going to close it out last night, so shout out to the Knicks for extending the series. I figured the Warriors were going to win. The problem is that Warriors-Lakers series, it's fun. It's been fun to watch. There's a lot of great storylines. But talking about that series is not fun whatsoever. You go anywhere on Twitter, you go anywhere on Reddit, whatever the case may be, it's constant bitching about officials and just whining and crying endlessly. And then also, the topic today is just laughing at head trauma, I guess. Like every conversation I've seen is like, a concussion? Head trauma, am I right, guys? It's like, I don't want any part of that. So instead, we're going to talk about the All-NBA teams. Controversial, fun, exciting. Me, I can't lose. My takes soaring in the sky with the Eagles. Beautiful stuff. If you're wondering why I didn't stream last night, I'm dealing with copyright issues again. I didn't get a copyright strike, but my last 3 streams have been copyright claimed for one reason or another. And it's starting to spook me out a little tiny bit, if I'm being 100% honest with you. My last stream got copyright claimed for a song. And not like one of the synthwave songs I play, but this song. Das Amore, when I did it, das Amore. That song, like, what the fuck? I've never played that song in my life. But yeah, that's why I didn't stream last night. Anyways, let's get into these All-NBA teams. Let's get into some talking points, because there are some big ones, and you guys know what, the one that I'm going to talk about the most is. First team All-NBA, SGA, Luka. Joel Embiid, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jason Tatum. Second team, Donovan Mitchell, Stephen Curry, Jimmy Butler, Nikola Jokic, Jaylen Brown. Obviously, some pretty big, contract implications there for Jaylen Brown. They can now supermax him. Damian Lillard, De'Aaron Fox, LeBron James, Julius Randle, and Domantas Sabonis take up the All-NBA third team. I really wish I did one of these before these awards came out. I don't know why I didn't, or after the regular season ended. I have no clue why I didn't. I think my first team would have been exactly the same. I would have had Dame on my second team for reasons I'll get into here in a bit. LeBron would not have made it for me. I think I probably would have given it to Markkanen. And admittedly, De'Aaron Fox had a great season. If I did one right after the regular season ended, I probably would have given a vote to Drew. Like if I had a vote, that's who I'd have given a vote to, and whatever. And yeah, other than that, I think that these are fine. But there are some stuff that people are upset about. Mainly what I'm seeing is both Luka and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander do not deserve to be All-NBA first team because their teams technically did not make the playoffs, right? Luka and the Dallas Mavericks missed the fucking play-in tournament entirely. The Oklahoma City Thunder finished as the 10 seed, won a play-in game, so they technically finished as the 9 seed, but still they missed the playoffs entirely as well. And both of those guys are on All-NBA first team, and this has led to quite a debate. And listen, shut up. Like, Jesus Christ, you guys will cry about anything. These two most certainly deserved All-NBA first team spots. To me, it wasn't even close at all. And here's my reasoning behind it, okay? Luka and Shai, in my opinion, were already the 2 best guards in the league this year. The way that they played, their performance, how many games they played. Luka and Shai both missed some time. It wasn't like they were Iron Men or anything like that. But, you compare them to like Steph and Devin Booker, who, if those were the guys, if those guys were healthy and played the full length of the season or a majority of games this season, and you wanted to give them the All-NBA first team nod over Luka and Shai, I would agree with that. But I mean, Steph played 56 games, D-Book played 53 games. Like, that's just not enough. So the other realistic candidates, Donovan Mitchell, De'Aaron Fox, those guys were just nowhere near the level of Luka and Shai. And let's just, at some point, we got to be honest with ourselves, all right? This award right here, this All-NBA award, before anyone says that I have double standards or anything, by the way, I want to say, and especially to, any Trae Young stands out there, I was a huge, massive advocate for Trae Young being first-team All-NBA last year, by the way. I was. All right. And I know Trae made the playoffs last year, so it's a little bit different. But I'm a big, these awards right here, this award, the All-NBA, that should just be, hey, here were the 15 best guys. We already do all of the winning stuff. Winning already plays into every other award the NBA has, and that's fine. Obviously, MVP, you're going to give it to a guy on a good team. That makes sense. Defensive Player of the Year usually goes to a guy on a good team with a great defense. That makes sense, right? Sixth Man of the Year usually goes to a guy on a good team. That makes sense. Rookie of the Year is really the only award that doesn't usually go to a guy playing on a good team. And I guess Most Improved from time to time. I don't really know. I don't keep up with the history of that award. But All-NBA should be what it's supposed to be. Hey, here's the 15 best guys this season. And Luka and Shai were the 2 best guards. And it was not close. Like, we want a snapshot of the NBA 10, 15 years from now. De'Aaron Fox is on the first team. No, we're not doing that. Okay. I'm happy he got third team All NBA. That's great. But get serious, please. For once, we already gave Sabonis top 5 in the fucking MVP. All right. It's enough. Enough. Luka, 32, 8, and 8 this year. 32, 8, and 8. Here's a list of guys who have done that over the course of the entire history of this great sport. Luka Doncic and some guy named Michael Jordan. Who the hell's that? I don't even know. But Luka Doncic, one of 2 players ever to average that stat line, and 60+% true shooting percentage, so on absurd efficiency. According to Basketball Index, 99th percentile or better in 3-point shot talent, playmaking talent, and finishing talent. The only player in the NBA who can say that this year. The 99th percentile or better in isolation points per possession, pick and roll points per possession, and post-up points per possession. Him and DeMar DeRozan, actually, are the only 2 guys who could say that this year. The Dallas Mavericks had one of the best half-court offenses in the history of the National Basketball Association. And as far back as cleaning the glass goes, they're only beaten by that Brooklyn Nets team a few years ago. That was just absurd. 105 points per 100 possessions. That half-court offense drops 8 points whenever Luka is off the floor. So essentially what I'm trying to say is this guy is the best half-court player in the NBA. And I don't even know if that's really debatable for me. Like, I think I voted Luka Doncic as the best offensive player before the start of the season, and that's not much of a surprise because I am slightly biased, baby. But this season, despite all of his flaws, despite how disastrous it was for the Dallas Mavericks, I think he proved that again. You know, we talked about, like, Rudy Gobert often gets talked about like, oh, he's a walking top 5 defense, even though it wasn't really true again this year. Luka is like a top 1 half-court offense. If he's your guy, if he's your engine, you're probably going to have the most efficient half-court offense in the league just because of what he brings to the table in terms of creating for himself and creating for others. It's really unmatched in the league, and I think he deserved this All-NBA first-team spot. I don't even think this is up for debate, and Shai most certainly deserved it as well. 31 points per game for Shai on 62% true shooting. Over the course of the entire history of the National Basketball Association, this has only happened 16 times that somebody averages that many points on that good of efficiency. And funny enough, it happened 3 times this year. Shai, Luka, and Damian Lillard, who I personally would have had on my second team ballot for most of the same reasons I said earlier. Like, for me, this isn't really a winning award. This is, hey, these guys were the best players in the league this year. Damian Lillard, I thought, was fucking amazing. And I thought he was definitely right there with Shai and with Luka. The thing that separates a little bit is Luka just does so much offensively. His playmaking is generational. And Shai's a good defender, man. He got votes for all defense. I don't know if he's that good, but Shai's legitimately a good defender. And Dame really, Dame's a good playmaker. Don't get me wrong, a really great playmaker, but not at the level of Luka, and obviously nowhere near the level a defender as Shai. But I still would have had him on my second team. He gets third team, which admittedly to me doesn't make much sense, but I guess I get it. And I guess the thing is for voters is it's like, all right, if you wanted to sneak Donovan Mitchell onto the first team, which guard are you taking out, Luka or Shai? And then, but how would you really justify that? Because Luka and Shai, to me, they belong in the same grouping, right? So if you're saying, hey, I'm not doing no playoff team guys who did not make the playoffs, they're not getting voted first team, right? All right, I guess that makes sense. But if you're leaving one of those guys off, you should leave both of those guys off. Or if you have one of those guys on your first team, you might as well have both of those guys on your first team. So I don't know, man. Jason Maples was throwing a fucking fit on Twitter about this, saying like, oh, back in my day, the All-NBA teams were pure. God damn. Yeah, man, 20 years from now, we should really look back on the NBA and say, yeah, De'Aaron Fox was a top 5 player in 2022, 2023. Is that what we want? It's just not, doesn't match up with reality. Not in the slightest. So I'm happy, man. Those are my 2 guys right there, Luka and Shai. Shai, as you guys know, Shai has been my favorite non-Dallas Maverick for like the last 3 years. I absolutely love this kid. I've been a big believer in his, really since his rookie year. I mean, very rarely do you see a guy come into the league and be that good in isolation that quickly. And usually those guys blossom into really great players. And Shai has been tremendous, man. He's been amazing. I went back and I found this tweet from 2 years ago, actually. I think it was after the Suns finals run, where I said this was a hot take at the time, that I would build a team around Shai Gilgeous-Alexander over Devin Booker. And I don't know. I personally still stand by this, but I don't think that it's crazy to say you'd rather have Devin Booker. Obviously, I mean, look at what he's done this postseason. The guy's absolutely unbelievable. He's one of the best players in the NBA, don't get me wrong. But for me, Shai, like, I still feel like he's underappreciated and a little underrated, which is crazy to say because he just got All-NBA first team. But he's still young. He's athletic. He's got the length, his size. He's a good defender, good playmaker. Like this is a great player to build a team around. And man, the Thunder are trending upwards. I'm so happy for Shai, so happy for Thunder fans. This is an exciting day for all of us. Luka Doncic, 4-time first team All-NBA. 4 times in 5 years. That is absolutely nuts. But it's time to take the next step. And keep in mind, guys, I want to say something here because I've already seen this a little bit on Mavs Twitter. Did I shit on Luka Doncic a lot this year? Yes. Did I get dragged through the fucking mud a million times on Twitter because I was being too harsh on Luka this year? Yes. Why do I do that? Why am I harsh on the guy? Because I think he's incredible. I think he's capable of being a 4-time MVP. I think he's capable of being a multiple-time champion. Okay, so the standards are just much higher, right? That's just the reality. I'm still rooting for him. I still want him to make All-NBA teams. I'm still going to go to bat for him. But, saying that he needs to get back on defense or saying that, his attitude needs to get a little bit better from time to time, those are just, that's not me shitting on him. That's like legit critiques, okay? And also I want to point out here, like I've seen people say, who gives a fuck about All-NBA? Why are you guys wasting your time? What else are we going to do, huh? Like, what else are we going to do? Work?